Hi, and welcome to CryptoBiography. I'm your host, Brandon Starr. This is episode 196. It's going to be sort of an unusual episode, first of its kind. It's going to be The New Kid, which is a story that I've actually put out before, only it's going to be put all in one episode. So this was originally a two-parter, and I'm going to be editing this audio together so that it can go out as a single story all in one. So why am I doing this? Well, I'm going to be doing this when something happens during the week ahead of an episode where I simply, for one reason or another, cannot put out a new story. And of course I could do, something nonfiction, like if something is going on in my life, but really there's so little going on in, that I can even talk about right now. It's still just COVID all the time. I mean, who wants to have another episode about me being stuck at home or anyone being stuck at home? So this was actually a suggestion from Marcus of Working Class Nerds. And so thank you, Marcus. I think this is a pretty good idea. And it's going to be occasional. It's not going to be happening every week. It's not like I'm going to try to catch up and do all of these at once. But the idea is that any story that got broken up into multiple episodes will be edited together into one episode so that it can be listened to all at once. As of right now, I don't really have a good video recording program of any kind, so I don't think I'm going to be doing the YouTube version. So if you're watching this on YouTube, because I am recording this temporarily, this is where you would now, if you want to hear The New Kid all at once, then you would go to CryptoBiography.com or simply go to Apple Podcasts or one of the other podcasts, programs. They all tend to sort of like slurp up the podcast from Apple Podcasts when they're making their own version. So that's why, podcasts tend to show up everywhere, is because that's exactly how they do it. But anyway, all right, so this was The New Kid, and it was a two-parter. It's still one of my favorite stories, actually. I do like it a lot. It has some sort of thematic callbacks to some stories that I've really liked that are not my own, Tickets, for example. It has a little bit of a reminder of Tickets to me. There's a little sort of Green Mile to it. There's definitely some influences, but I feel it's, my own story as well, and I had a lot of fun writing it, and I think it turned out well. Now, I'm perfectly well aware that, the author is dead, so to speak, which means that, which is a phrase that basically means the old style of looking at literature where it's all about like trying to figure out what the author meant, what the author's intent was, what was the author trying to get across, what were the author's themes, and so on, is not necessarily the way that people read or listen to literature anymore. And I'm perfectly fine with that. But I am the author in this case, and I am happy with this particular story. I do like its themes. I like the characters as well, and I hope if you haven't listened to it before, I hope you enjoy it. This was originally, let me look back at this. This was originally episodes. This was shortly after I started, doing short stories, and it was episodes 64 and 65. So what I'm going to be doing when these sorts of episodes happen is I will be editing together all the various episodes that it took, and I'm going to do them in order. Any episode that took more than one episode to actually do the entirety of, I will then make into one of these episodes on, like I say, on a regular basis. The next one, therefore, will be Connections, and that's probably I was tempted to actually start with that one, partly because it was one of the longest episodes, but also because it happened to be broken up by some other stories. Like, I was writing it, and then I kind of came up with other ideas that I wanted to write, and so I ended up writing several other stories, like in the middle of Connections, and then coming back to it. And so that one really is broken up quite a bit. But I did want to I decided in the end, no, it probably makes more sense to just start at the beginning, do every story that was broken up, put them into one, and make an episode that way. So here we go. And this is The New Kid.